Go.
Oh, we'd like to dedicate that old Milk Cow Blues song to Miss Cortez in New York. She wants to destroy all the cows, do away with them, and do away with our cars and our pickup trucks and our trains and our,
Airplanes.
and now keep in mind, she's not a Republican, she's a Democrat.
I guess she never
Now,
walked in the cities of New York when we only had horse-drawn carriages.
well, let's read a
Yeah,
statistic
so that
about,
you can get irate. I've never quite seen you that way. That was
well,
great. That was a Spartacus moment. Yeah, that was okay. 227 of the 233 Democrats in the House voted to allow illegals to vote in our elections.
now, if that's true, folks, and I'll bet it is, what what's the biggest enemy we face in this country?
Okay, people, while we were off the air, he was yelling and he was loud, and y'all should have heard him. He would have been like, yes!
Well, if the Democrats want to allow illegals to vote in our elections, they want to allow illegal aliens to pick the president of the United States. Uh, I'm just repeating, folks, what's the biggest enemy we face today in America? What is the biggest enemy that wants to destroy this country that you and I live in?
Hands are
It's,
raised. I know, I know, I know.
well, think about it. You want to vote for a Democrat? And ah, I hate to get like this, but wake up, America. Why are we allowing the Democrat Party to destroy America? I keep saying I wouldn't give a damn, except I live here too.
Yeah, if they didn't
And my
have the view.
children live here and my grandchildren live here, and I want to preserve the Judeo Christian Republic of America for my family and for the rest of my life. So why are we voting Democrat and they're trying as hard as they can to destroy America?
Now, this is not a party line show,
No.
but, and the Democrats, if they stood for something else, then you would have a difference of opinion. But under the circumstances, with the socialist Marxists give everything away and destroy the foundation and the fiber of our country, oh, heck no.
And for the Republican representatives and senators that stand there and don't say anything, they're just a peaceful, loving, kind, gentle kind of Republicans.
Soap opera
They're just
watchers.
as damn guilty as the Democrats are. If they don't stand up and stop this mess, they're just as guilty as the Democrats who apparently want to destroy our country.
While you were
Now,
saying that, I was thinking, worthless, they're worthless. Oh, no, they're not worthless. You know what? Because they're doing damage.
well, they're accomplishing
Yeah,
their goal, and they're.
exactly.
But my point is, when are we, the American people, the gun-owning, God-fearing Christians, when are we going to stand up and stop this?
Now, you're not calling for violence.
Or do we encourage more immigration from Somalia and Syria and all those Muslim countries? And keep in mind now, there's two different kinds of Muslim people. There are the Islamics and there are the Muslims. And I didn't realize there was such a difference until Glenn Beck had it on his show.
Explain
And
the difference, because I didn't think there was one. I thought there was the ones who were civil and worked through the government and had tons of patience, and then there was the jihadists.
well, for example, you have the Shiites killing the Sunnis
I knew that.
in big numbers, and they're both Muslims, but apparently one group of Muslims hates another group of Muslims. But the difference is when most Irishmen, Scotchmen, Englishmen, Germans, whoever, when they kill somebody, it's for a reason. But if you look at what the Muslim people are doing, they kill large numbers of people that they don't know, never seen, don't know them, never heard tell of them, but they just kill them. They just want to kill people. And keep in mind, they have been killing Christians for what, 1,200 years? So, and Barack Obama wanted to bring 110,000 here from Syria,
And Hillary wanted
and
to
Hillary
bring.
wanted to multiply it times 550%. Now, And I might remind folks that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton both were Democrats. And how can we, as a freedom-loving American, listen to Obama make that statement, listen to Hillary make those statements, listen to uh, Chuck Schumer, people like that, and then go down there and punch the Democrat vote when you walk into the voting booth? How in the cat hair do you do that? I could not, in good conscience, vote for those kind of people. And
So I
and
guess
furthermore, there are some Republicans that are just about as bad as they are. And I think that we need to clean house, and we need to start with the Republican Party. If you are a Republican representative or senator, and you just stand idly by and watch the Democrats take over this country, then you need to get gone.
Romney needs to go.
Yeah, Mitt
Bushes
Romney
need
is
to
the first
go.
one needs to go, and there are others. But I would remind people the time to get mad at existing Republican congressmen is in the primary. Don't wait until the general election, then it's too late. But during the primary, we need to decide which of our Republican congressmen are effective and are doing a good job and are standing up for liberty and freedom, and which ones are just standing idly by and letting the Democrats destroy America.
Okay, but there needs to be a call out from the public saying, we want somebody to run against John Carter. We want somebody to run against Cronin. We want somebody to run against this person, that person. We want to replace them. We will vote for you if you're willing to run and you are willing to stand for these things. That we will welcome you, and you will have our vote.
Well,
But
but
right
too
now, nobody will stand against Carter or any of these other people except a Democrat.
well, and whoever stands against these people, be it Democrat or Republican, his name better be John Wayne or somebody like that, because they're going to try to destroy him. So it's going to take somebody with a lot of guts to stand up against these kind of politicians. Now here's Ike, and he's going to get me straightened out on this issue. Ike, you there?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be this issue, but you know, I, I've I've come up with an idea, and I've been, arguing it with friends. Uh, who's paying these people, and why are they being paid?
The lobbyists are paying them.
Which people are you talking about? Clarify.
I'm sorry, the horde that's coming across the southern border.
Oh, well, that would be Soros's organizations, just like the one that we spotlighted a couple of weeks ago, that is out of Chicago.
In other words, the people that are wading through all these folks giving money left and right. Why are they giving those folks money?
Well, I asked a question, Ike, months ago when these caravans first started, and it's just a common sense question. Who's feeding them? You're talking about thousands of people walking hundreds of miles across bad terrain. Where's the food truck and the water truck?
That's right.
Somebody is doing that.
Well, this organization is organizing all of this, okay? They're sending out all the propaganda. They're getting them all to meet in a certain place. They're organizing the transportation. They're doing all the logistics. But the problem is people don't understand is that this organization's reasoning for this, their mission is socialist Marxist, to change this country fundamentally. Okay, that is their sole mission. They could give a crap less about these people from these countries.
Well,
then we're under attack.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We're being invaded, but
Okay.
but they're being used as weapons.
We're
Wait,
being
hey,
invaded.
hold on now.
You got us all fired up.
I've got one for you. They're mercenaries.
Yeah.
Call a spade a spade.
Yes, they are.
Paid combatants. They haven't been given weapons. They've been trained on the poor me type stuff. They're the cannon fodder that they send in first to see if they, see what kind of will to fight that you have. But they are being paid. That makes them mercenaries. Okay?
Well, they are. That's true. And they are an invading army, and we need to face the facts, Ike. That's what we're talking about here. Let's wake up, folks. And Ike, what can you and I do about it? the one thing you and I can do about it, we can talk to our friends and our neighbors and alert them to the truth of what's going on.
Louis L'Amour, and I respect a lot of his writings, but he has a book of short stories, Night Over the Solomons, and he has explained the history of mercenaries like I've never seen before. It started out when the young men had no future. Okay, does that sound familiar down there?
Yeah.
South of the border. All right, young men with no future could have a chance at a future if they hired to fight for some other group, whatever group. And oftentimes they were sold by the leaders. Their leaders would sell them like the Hessians were sold to the British to fight against the colonists, the Americans. Okay, so these guys are being paid to come over here now. They want to take us over. They're at war with us. They're paid soldiers. They're paid mercenaries. That carries a different mindset. When you refer to these people as mercenaries, all of a sudden they're not cutesy-tootsy, just wanting a better place. Now they're here to take us over.
Well, see, Ike, another problem we have is we have been brainwashed to think positive, think positive, think positive, and don't say anything negative. There's a taboo against saying anything negative, and that's what you're doing right now. You're making negative statements, and we've been brainwashed to not do that. So
obviously, I don't fit in that we that you're referring to.
Well,
never have, I never will.
I don't think I do either. I guess there's some folks that thinks I'm too positive, but I don't know
Who's
who
that?
that is. I don't know who that is. But all of my life, Ike, and probably you too, I have had to face reality. If I have a problem, I can either run from it or I can run at it. But all of my life, I've been running at problems that I have, be it financial or a man or a four-legged animal, whatever it is. But we have to decide whether we're going to run from this problem or run at it. And if we continue to run from this problem, be it immigration or the Democrats wanting to take over and destroy America, and we've got to call it what it is. If the Democrats are anti-American, let's call them that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's war. These people are mercenaries.
Yeah.
End of discussion. Let's go on to the next. Let's use that as a basis for our action plan. Okay? We can dream up and golly and kick the dog and all we want to about the idiots that are being elected, but the federal government is not giving the guys that we have on the border the necessary tools to do their job. I know because I have blood kin down there.
Well,
right?
and
they're on duty right now.
and I agree. They're not trying to help control our borders. They're trying to destroy our borders. And look at people running. Look at Beto O'Rourke. He says he wants to tear down any existing walls. He wants to ban guns and open the borders. Now, think about that for just a half a second, Ike. What would the result of that be?
I'm sorry. I don't waste my time thinking about idiots, okay? That's just a real bad waste.
Yeah, but some people are.
It's a
well,
way.
That's all right. That's all right.
And it's not just Beto that's saying that. There's like
I'll
4 or
sit
5
down
of
and
them.
convince them. If I'm in the cafe and I hear a conversation, I'll get up and get in their face. Just like my daddy used to do if he saw anybody eating chicken. We're in the cattle business. Why are you eating chicken? My daddy'd go across the cafe at Georgetown, Texas, the L&M Cafe, and he'd walk up. Of course, he knew everybody, and they knew him. But he'd go up there and tell them, what's wrong with y'all? What are y'all eating chicken for? We don't raise chicken in Georgetown. We raise cattle in this country.
Are you saying that your daddy would not have been a voter for Miss Cortez? Am I to assume that, Ike?
My dad was a Republican before it was cool to be a Republican because the Democrats didn't leave us just recently. The
No.
Democrats, the crooks of the Yarborough and Lyndon Johnson and all those crooks, Coke Stevenson, you know, he loved Texas so much that he wouldn't call Lyndon out on box 6 when Lyndon stole that election.
Hey, Ike, we can't hear you very well anymore. Can you push the phone up to you?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Well, Ike, now you've done got us stirred up here, so
Y'all see.
well, well, don't lose the phone number now.
Listen. They're shipping them all over the country on Greyhound buses.
Yeah, they are.
At Golden Corral down here, the waitresses tell me Greyhound buses are pulling in there with 60, 70, 80 of them. And now who's paying to feed them at Golden Corral,
We are.
None of them speak English, and they're coming into Golden Corral. What kind of diseases are being deposited at Golden Corral? That's the question I would like to ask the manager of Golden Corral. Of course, I just don't go there anymore once I hear that.
But that's why, Ike, I made the statement a while ago, and I'm going to offend some good folks, I guess. But what's the worst enemy we face today in America? Is it Russia, Red China, Korea? No. It's the dad blame Democrat Party that wants to flood this country with illegal aliens from Honduras, wherever they're from. The result is the same. Doesn't matter where they're from. We're going to destroy this country. When you bring in hundreds of thousands a month, you're going to flood the country with those people, and America will be destroyed. And we are sitting here letting it happen. When are we Americans going to wake up? Now, Ike, doggone, you done got me stirred up here.
Well, what's the action plan? I'm hearing
action,
I hear all this and hear all this and hear all this. What's our action plan?
My action plan is what I'm doing right now, Ike. I'm trying to alert as many folks as I can to the dangers that face. That's my action plan, and I am in action today and every Saturday. And now, admittedly, I may walk out the back door some of these days and meet an AK-47,
Mm-hmm.
but
don't invite anybody.
But if that's what's coming next because of my trying to defend freedom in America, then so be it. Just bring it on.
Well, okay. You're preaching to the choir, I'm afraid, and I don't think an AK-47 is going to worry about anybody that's only preaching to the choir.
No, it don't worry me.
You got to get out in the street. During Vietnam, I was in Austin, Texas, on the drag of the University of Texas fighting hippies. All them son of guns, that anti-war rascals, they big mouths, but you get in their face and make them back it up. That's what you do.
Well,
you can't just preach to the choir.
You can't do that anymore. They can only get in our face.
I wear a Trump cap, red cap, says Trump on it. I've had several people ask me if I weren't afraid to wear this cap. And my reaction is I'm damn sure not scared to wear this cap, because I have taken note of the folks that want to jump on folks with a red cap. They like to jump on 14, 15-year-old kids. I ain't a 15-year-old kid, Ike. And you're not either.
No,
so,
you're right.
Anyway, thank you for the call, Ike. And
enjoy the show, but sooner or later we've got to quit preaching to each other and break the door out open and go find them, and we're going to have to root them out and hunt them down.
Well,
thank you. Enjoy your show. Bye.
You be careful out there.
We're going to take a break.
Okay, we're going to take a break here, folks. And
oh, well, we can't do that yet.
shades of night are falling as the wind begins to sigh, and the world is silhouetted against the sky.
Oh, oh, oh.
Blue shadows on the trail.
That's the Sons of Pioneers, right?
Blue moon
Anyway, here we are back on the
shining
Common Sense with
through
Conn
the-
show, folks. We've had a lot of lively discussion today, and I sure have enjoyed it. I hope you did. And I hope that we have presented some ideas that maybe some folks haven't thought of yet. But, and I know I sound a little bit negative sometime, but we had better recognize the reality, folks. Now here is Bill on the line, and he's going to tell us what that reality is. Bill, go ahead.
Thanks for waiting.
Yes, sir. I learned in history about something called the Boston Tea Party,
Yes, sir.
and I'm wondering if history don't just repeat itself. If these socialists are going to raise the taxes so high that we can't go looking for another country, we'll have to take care of them.
Well, Bill, I keep reminding people, and I think not everybody realized it, but we voted for I didn't, but the people in Bell County voted for the last school bond issue for $150 million, and that was on top of the $138 million they still owed in the last bond issue. But the stupid people voted for it. Now, well, they don't realize that in the last Great Depression, a lot of the homes, farms, and ranches that were seized because of taxes. The banks didn't take all the property. The tax people took the property. Now, every second Tuesday down here at the Bell County Courthouse, they have a tax sale. They have, mortgage sales, delinquent mortgage payments, but they also have sales on property for non-payment of taxes. So as we continue to raise the taxes on our homes, our businesses, our real estate, we're going to continue to raise those taxes until we lose the property. So is that what the general public wants? Do we want to continue to let the bureaucrats spend money until they come get our house? Is that what people want?
Keep your powder dry.
Well, we're going to need it, I think.
I think so.
Well, but see, Bill, not everybody realizes that when they vote for these bond issues and they vote for these politicians that all they know how to do is spend money, the politician that's spending the money has to get the money somewhere, and that's called taxes. And that bill goes to you and I, and people just like us. We're the ones that gets the bill. So
Well,
when are we going to wake up?
The school system was a little rigged, they found out, but I don't know if it helped any.
No, it hasn't, because they just, they exempt the school district from that bill when they ripped out 70% of it. So, but Bill, thanks for the call.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, and we need to look at some of these bills and then look at who voted for them.
Absolutely. And besides that, who's sitting on these committees like the Ways and Means Committee, who ripped the guts out of this bill, after all the promises. But, y'all have 30 days. 30 times is all you have to do. You have to call your representative, your congressman, 30 times in the next 30 days, or get an email, resend it every day, whatever it takes, whatever makes it easiest for you, but get a hold of them every day and make your voice heard.
Well, and let me give a shout out for the Logic Nation. That's the radio show that's on here on KTM 5 days a week here in Temple. And one of the folks on that show is C.J. Grissom, and CJ and Lou Ann both, I think, go down to the legislature uh, very frequently, and they kind of watch these bills and they can explain more about them than I can. So I would encourage all of you listeners out there, tune in to Logic Nation. That comes on, I think, at 8 in the morning, and it's over at 11 o'clock. But listen to that show and listen to them explain to you what our legislators are doing in Austin, and then write down the name of the legislators that vote for these bills or against these bills, and then let's vote them out of office. We can't just keep sending the same people back to Austin or back to Washington if they're either standing there doing nothing or if they're contributing to the destruction of this state and of this country. The taxes in Texas are going straight through the roof. I think we're the third most taxed state in the nation. I think I read that recently, and now we've got our legislature that is increasing taxes. We need to be lowering taxes, folks, not increasing them. Now, another group that is fighting this is a group called, anyway, the brochure here says Stop the Hidden Property Tax. And the place to find them
Is hiddenpropertytax.com/petition. And the name of the group is, what's the name of the group? Yeah, I don't know.
well, Terry,
I'm still looking for it.
Representative Terry Wilson is involved in this. Have you got their?
I'm still looking for it. Actually, the Terry Wilson, this is, the petition goes to Terry Wilson. But it's for House Bill 2, and it's to send this petition to Terry Wilson to get him to listen and to hopefully get the kind of reform that we need. And I'm still looking for who the group is. It's not very well written here.
Well, that www.
Yeah, that's the address we just gave. It's www.hiddenpropertytax.com petition/petition. So,
Well, at any rate, we the people need to get involved, folks. And the way we get involved is let's call or write our representatives and our senators and tell them what we think and tell them what we stand for. And then if they don't stand with us and stand for us and stand for freedom and liberty, they need to go get a job somewhere else.
okay, so this publication that he just handed me, it's paid for by Texas Realtors out of Austin. So they're the ones that are behind this particular petition to stop the hidden property tax. And
Well-
so they're saying that in 20 years, from 1995 to 2015, the total property tax levy has increased 227.16%.
Well, and if that continues, folks, you're not going to own the home you live in. The taxing entity is going to own that home or that farm or that business or whatever it is. Okay, we got Keith on the line here that's going to talk to us. Keith, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
we're
sir.
here. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Conn, one thing about the property tax, mom and daddy, they work all their lives paying for their house, and then when they get it paid off, they get to pay for it again.
Exactly. And then when they die, you get to give half of it to the government.
Yeah, that's a good deal for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Well,
If you don't
Conn,
like
listen,
freedom.
I just wanted to share a website that I've been researching. It's called SatansKids.com. It's written by a old lieutenant colonel, Army colonel, and it's in multiple chapters. It's very interesting. It starts with Cain, the son of Satan,
Yeah.
and it goes on through to step through, goes into Noah, which is extremely interesting, and from that point on, it takes you through today with Satan's kids, the Kenites, Edomites, etc. And it's eye-opening, if your viewers want to look at it, it's up to them. But it is a good research.
Tell us again how to do it.
That's the website is satanskids.com.
Need to write that down, folks. Satan's Kids. See, that kind of rings a bell with me because I keep making the statement that there ain't but two sides in this fight. There's God and there's Satan. Now,
Exactly.
we need to decide whose side we're on.
That's it.
I'm kind of like General Stonewall Jackson. You either with me or you against me.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to God's people. You're either with God or you're against Him.
You've got a choice. You go one way or the other.
And there ain't no middle ground in this. It's not enough to be a moderate. It's not enough to stand idly by in the middle and not make a choice. That's not good enough, folks.
That's right. They, Conn, of all the things going in the world throughout my life, I'm 70 years old, and, there's so many, there should be equilibrium here of good things happening in worldwide geopolitical and bad things happening, and I see a majority of the things happening is an evil entity inspired.
Yes, I agree. It's why I'm saying, and I guess I'm getting too off the wall here, but I think that I see Satan's influence more prevalent and stronger than I have ever seen it in my lifetime.
Exactly.
Let me give you a good example, Keith. We had an actor named Chris Bales or something like that at one of the award ceremonies got up and publicly thanked Satan for inspiring him in his acting career. You've never seen that before in your lifetime, Keith.
Oh, no. You wouldn't see that, 10, 20, 30 years ago. You'd never see anything like that go up on stage.
But you're seeing it now, and I'm sure the audience applauded. It's you see a man get up and use the F word or some other vulgar word, and instead of the crowd booing him and chasing him off the stage, they all clap and laugh.
Exactly.
So what is funny about the use of vulgar words? Why do we laugh and cheer and give them a thumbs up? Why?
Yeah. Well, if they want to research, you can go into Kenites. It's Kenities, and that'll open a whole new research for people. And it's the sons of Satan and how that all got started in the Garden of Eden.
Well, I would encourage people to do that. I'd also encourage people to listen to various programs besides the Five or some other radical group. Glenn Beck recently
You mean
had
The View, right? You meant The View, not the Five.
I meant The View, not the Five. At any rate, Glenn Beck had a program recently where he did some research about the Covington kids that, the Indian was beating the drum in front of that kid's face. Well, who started that whole ruckus was not the kid and was not the Indian with the drum. It was a group called the Black Hebrews. The Black Hebrews was started in 1886 by a black preacher, I think in Georgia or somewhere. At any rate, what they advocate and what they believe is they believe that Jesus Christ was black and that he will come back to the earth and take over, and when he does, he will have the Black Hebrews kill all the white people. Now,
that's a beautiful thing, isn't it, Conn?
Yeah, see, does that describe where we are?
Right.
And why we should be fearful of what's happening to us today in this country. And
I think that drum beat that Native American was doing, I think that has to do with something, a chant, or maybe what's the word? Would that be a spell? Maybe.
Yeah.
And they continually went into his face with that drum and chanting over and over and over the same thing. And And you'll see that, like in some of these demonic Satan, they chant. They go into a chant, and it's just unbelievable stuff going on.
Well, and I did hear recently on the news that the Church of Satan is growing rapidly. So if you think Satan's influence is not out there, you better think again.
Well, if I remember correctly, what I reported a week or two ago is the largest religion, in air quotes, non-religion religion in the world, in the country now. Yeah, I have to read that, but that's pretty much what it said.
Right.
So it's the largest group out there now, and it's not Christians anymore.
But see, Keith, you're standing up and telling the truth and encouraging other people to do the same thing. A man just asked me, what is my game plan? What do I intend to do? Well, I am doing what I intend to do right now as we speak. On this radio, I am trying to sound the watch cry.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. I enjoy your show. When I can get it, I'm down here south, and when I can get it, I really enjoy your show, Conn. And,
What area of the state are you in, Keith?
well, I'm around Austin area.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm to the east of Austin, out in the boonies, and sometimes my phone works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
So I'm that far out.
I do appreciate
Your call.
your call
Your
and your information there, Keith, and keep up the good work, because it's going to take all of us to defeat this enemy.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate your work, Conn, and God bless both of you.
Thanks,
Well,
sir. Appreciate
thank
it.
you,
Same
Keith.
to you.
You be careful out there, and don't lose this phone number. Call again.
Okay, well, I got something for you. Okay, so the Dems are known intimately for their, their spins of lies out of the truth. They can just do it in thin air, right? Well, you remember that whole Charlottesville protest?
Yeah.
And now they're taking Trump's words and, editing them down and using them against him, and that's what Biden did and all that. Okay, so I have an excerpt that I'm going to read. Okay. It says Trump says, and he's talking to the reporters who are trying to talk over the top of him and talk down to him. He says, "Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo-Nazis. They had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of them," this is his words, "as very, very important statue. Renaming the park from Robert E. Lee to another name. Reporter, George Washington and Robert E. Lee are not the same. Trump, oh no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his statue? Are you going to take it down? Excuse me. Are you going to take it down? Are you going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are you going to take his statue down? He was a major slave owner." Anyway, it continues, and I put it on Conn's Facebook page, and it gives all the excerpts and exchanges between the crowd and reporters and Trump and what Trump actually said. So it's on Common Sense Conn, and that's with 2 N's, and I just posted it, so you can read it for yourself. But
Well, this whole thing about the slave days and slave owners and all that kind of stuff, let me repeat what Mr. Treat at A&M University said back in the dark ages. He said, let's keep this in perspective. Before the Civil War, a good slave was worth $2,000. He said, if you today had a horse worth $2,000, what would you do with it? Would you beat it? Would you starve it? What would you do with it? No, you would feed it, you would house it, you would take care of it, and that's what they did with the slaves.
Well, in the time, they were more highly regarded than others. But the important thing was that like you mentioned earlier, that was Robert E. Lee, when his wife inherited those slaves, they freed them, and that's very important. And what Trump was trying to say here and clarify here was that the neo-Nazis and that they came in and they caused problems. And he was not saying they were the good people. He's saying the people that were there who wanted to save the Robert E. Lee statue and were there only for that reason, that were there peacefully, were good people with good intentions.
They were.
And the people on the other side, they were good people with their good intentions. But then these people that came in there, they were in there to do evil, and they proceeded to make a huge mockery and mess
Well,
of everything.
and how many good people now have been indoctrinated and brainwashed about racism and about how evil Robert E. Lee was.
And Trump.
Robert E. Lee was not evil.
And Trump didn't condone this behavior, any of this
no.
behavior. He called
So,
them out.
What did we ever do with truth? Did we just throw it away in favor of political correctness?
Well, that's what Shimmer did, because before we leave the air today, hopefully, I don't know if we'll have time, we should play that Schumer bit one more time for anybody who missed it in the first hour, because it's only a little less than a minute long.
Okay, right now let's listen to what Michelle has to say. Michelle, you there?
Yes, sir, Conn. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, but folks kind of keep getting me stirred up. So,
I know, me too. And I just have a couple of comments. I apologize, but I had to get away from the radio a couple of times, so I hope I'm not repeating anything. But I just wanted to say how much I appreciate when y'all are able to work Scripture into the program. And your first caller today, was that Rick?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. What Rick was talking, when, we're commanded to pray for our enemies as well as everyone else. But we pray for their hearts to be changed so they become better people. We don't pray for them to have prosperity or, things like that. We just pray that God can change their hearts so they become a better person. And I wanted to clarify that for Rick. But I enjoyed all your callers today. And one of them, Ike, he was so funny. He was awesome. And how much I enjoy the show. And I just wanted to point that out in case you didn't, or some other people might not have understood exactly what Rick meant. But that's what it is. We pray for their hearts to be changed.
Well, Rick is a good man, and he was right. And if there was any missed comments, it was probably me that said them, because I made the statement that, I agree with Rick, but I'm going to let God take care of that. I'll have to handle bad people today in America. And I think that we can forgive them and let God forgive them, whatever. But if we don't stop the evildoers today, for one thing, we need to remember the greatest teaching aid known to mankind is what? It's example. So if you've got an evildoer, let's say someone that kills a 5-year-old baby, or the couple in California that chained their children to the bed, stuff like that. That will set the example, and others will learn from that and try to do it. We have to stop the evildoers.
Well, you're right. Even Christ got mad.
Yeah.
And in Christ and Christ, they had an army. And I mean, it's not like we are to defend ourselves and take up for what's right. I totally believe that. Absolutely.
Well, and I used the scripture the other day, and I would encourage everyone to look up Luke 22, verse 36. Basically, what it says is God is telling his disciples, if you don't own a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. The sword was the sidearm of the day in Christ's day. And the pistol or the gun is the sidearm of the day in today's world. So all these people that want to ban guns and open borders, etc., they better listen to what Christ had to say back in those days, because it applies today.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And I'll let you go. You're probably coming up on a break, and I sure appreciate the show. And
Thank,
God bless y'all.
thank you,
Well,
Michelle. We appreciate it.
we appreciate that, and we thank you for being a good listener and a good caller.
So Vicky texted, and she's like, people on the left at Charlottesville didn't have a permit to assemble, and then they came in there, and
Well, they were there to cause trouble.
yeah, they were.
And the reporters were just hipping the rioters. I tell you what, the news media today, whenever they cross that old big river up there in the sky, they're going to have some things to account for. Here again, I'm going to let God take care of that. But right now, we need to be careful who we're backing. We need to be careful who we are allowing to take over this country. And I keep saying, Republicans and Democrats alike, we need to clean house, folks. There are some representatives and senators that I wouldn't vote for them for dog catcher, let alone for a congressman. But people keep putting them back in office. Pray tell me what they're doing to defend the country. What are they doing to help Trump at the border? What are our representatives and senators doing to preserve this country? A lot of them are not doing one damn thing. They're helping to destroy this country. And we, the people, had better wake up and pay attention, because if we don't, we're going to lose the country and the freedom that exists here. Now, see, here I go getting stirred up again, but I can't help it. I love this country. I'm a nationalist. I love America, and I was born white. And if that makes me a white nationalist, well, then so be it. But I do love this country. I love the freedom that I have enjoyed here all of my life, and I would like to preserve that freedom so that my children and grandchildren can enjoy the same thing. Now, those of you who don't appreciate the freedom we have in this country, then go down there and support your local Democrat Party. You can help them destroy it.
All right, well, we're going to play the Chuck Schumer thing one more time to close the show. We appreciate all the calls today. If you'd like to sponsor the show, please give us a call at 254-300-1885. Here's Chuck Schumer, the treacherous liar, and a great representative for the Democratic Party. We'll see y'all next week.
Fewer illegal immigrants, higher GDP, more jobs, reduced deficit. Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody, if they care about America. We are committed to ending the waves of illegal immigration that we've seen in the last 30 years. Crossing the border without permission from the government is a crime. When we catch someone crossing the border, prosecute them and deport them, we are solving the crime and punishing the criminal. One of the most effective things we do on the border is turn people back. You don't catch them after they cross the border. They get up to the border and we find them and say, go home. We know that keeping our borders safe from dangerous gang members, drug dealers, and human traffickers is critical. We let cross the border millions who take jobs away from American workers.